Welcome to conversation number 21. In this conversation, we're going to be asking the question, what is faith without works? Here's the answer that we're going to explore. We show we have faith in God by doing good works, which God has created for us to do, because faith without works is dead. Now let's break that answer down into smaller pieces. First, it tells us that we need to show that we have faith in God. And the key word there is show. See, it's one thing to say you can play the guitar, but it's an entirely different thing to actually show that you can play the guitar. It's also one thing to say you love your parents, but it's a whole nother thing to actually show and display your love for your parents. But it's also another thing to say that you have faith in God or that you believe in God. But it's a whole entirely different thing to actually show to others that you do believe and trust in God. You see, faith, biblical faith, saving faith, is a faith that does not just talk the talk, but it walks the walk. It's just not something we say. It's something we believe in, trust in, and we allow it to transform us so that we actually put it into motion, put it into action. We show we have faith in God, and we show Him, and we show others that we have faith in Him by doing good works. The Apostle Paul wrote in Ephesians chapter 2, he says, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is a gift from God, not by works, so that no one can boast. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." You see, good works is how we prove and show that we have genuine faith in God. As Paul says, works in and of themselves can never save anyone. As we've talked about in many other occasions through our conversations, we talk that we cannot earn or achieve or buy our salvation. Our salvation was achieved and won and granted by Christ, and we receive it by faith. But this faith must be genuine, and it must be a faith that transforms us and a faith that displays itself through our actions, through our works. So it's important to know, it's very important to know, that simply doing good things can never save you by themselves. What saves us is our faith in Jesus Christ, and therefore how we use our faith, how we show our faith then proves that we have genuine faith in Jesus. And we know this because Paul also said here in Ephesians that we show we have good faith, that we have faith in God by doing good works, which God has created us to do. And you might ask, well, what are some examples? Well, here's some examples of what good works looks like. For example, you can show kindness to someone who is going through a really tough time. Just being there and loving them and supporting them, that is an example of good works. Or maybe being a friend to someone who's lonely, befriending someone and building a relationship with them, taking time and effort to do so, that is an example of good works. But also, giving money to someone to help feed them when they are hungry and not able to do it on their own, to do those kind of generosities and the charities, that is examples of good works. But also, we could also say that an example is telling people about Jesus who don't know Him. Evangelism, telling people about Jesus, is another example of doing good works. And there's so many other ways that we can do good works. Anytime we are serving God or serving people in the name of God, we are doing His will, and therefore we are doing good works. So we show we have faith in God by doing good works, which God has created for us to do, because faith without works is dead. Faith without works means you say you believe in Jesus, but you don't do anything that really shows you believe in Him. For example, you might believe that Jesus tells us to forgive people who hurt us, and He might even forgive you, and you might even accept that forgiveness. However, you yourself do not take any actual steps to forgive someone when they hurt you. That's an example of faith without works. James chapter 2, verse 17 says that faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. And further in verse 20, he says that faith without deeds is useless. Again, works, deeds, however you want to define them, they in and of themselves can never save anyone. But they are the evidence of our salvation. And if our faith does not produce evidence, then as James says, it's not really true faith at all. So let's recap. What is faith without works? The answer we explored is that we show we have faith in God by doing good works, which God has created for us to do, because faith without works is dead. We now encourage you as a family to go through the Continuing the Conversation handout, and we hope that you will have a great week exploring why works is so important to our faith. Thank you.